1 month of 2026 is already over, and now it is time for a monthly wrap up.
Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel.
So, January was a really good month for me. It was calm and cozy and peaceful, and I could tick off everything that I had on my list, which was slowing down, start a new hobby, and I started crocheting. So I'm really enjoying it as of now. I made a book cover and a bookmark, and it was not really as good as I expected, but I'm learning. So hopefully, I will improve with the experience. I also watched adaptation People We Meet on a Vacation. I feel it was good, but not as amazing as the book. I planned to read 6 books, but I ended up reading 8 books. Two of that were novellas, but still they count. So yes, goals kept, hobbies unlocked, pages turned. 2026 started really well for me. And here are all the books I read in January 2026. First book of January 2026 was Mrs. Trelawney by Virginia Woolf. We are taken into World War One London, where we follow story of Clarissa, who was preparing for the party she was hosting in the evening, and we follow her from the morning till the evening, and we get to know all her monologues, her perspective, along with the other characters that crosses her path. So yes, this book takes place in a one day, written in the stream of consciousness style. Now, what worked for me? I really loved the themes and layers in this book. They were really important and also relevant. They were about post war trauma, British imperial ideology, the emptiness of upper class society, class divisions, and fragile human connection. Another thing I really liked is the way author portrays PTSD in this through Septimus' story. It was really heartbreaking to read what he was going through and how no one around him could understand his condition, not even doctors. It was that time period when PTSD was not actually discovered, and it was even more sad to see how that ended up for him. Now, what didn't work for me is the stream of consciousness style. Yes, it is the heart of the writing in this, but just hear me out. It didn't work because the switch between the monologues, perspectives, abstract descriptions, it made the plot a bit confusing because there was no chapter break. The switch sometimes were too sudden, and I have to stop often while reading the book just to interpret what was being said and to actually understand the characters. Another thing is while the characters are complex and flawed and very human, at the same time, I found it hard to like any of them or actually connect with them. It felt like even Larissa was emotionally distant for those even closest to her. Overall, yes, I admire the writing. I really respect for author for including a subject matter that was not even discovered at that time, and for writing the complex and flawed characters. But at the same time, I will say I did not enjoy the book. Let's just say I stayed as emotionally distant as Clarissa was in the book. Next, I read Promise Me This by Nara Sheikh. It is a contemporary romance where we follow Imam, who comes from a conservative family, and is very independent. And for principle, she leaves her brother in law's company and joins the bigger company that is Meridian Enterprise. Unexpectedly, she meets the CEO of the company, Haider, First, at the rain soaked night, which was kind of a meet cute, and later when she joins the company. But one spontaneous lie turns their boss employee relationship into fake dating and then secret relationship, making Imam face the family pressure, and it also unearths the secret she had been hiding since she was 11. And it also makes her question if love can coexist with the family pressure and also her past trauma. Now, what worked for me is writing is immersive. The pace is almost steady. I absolutely loved layer of sisterhood. The bond between the sisters was amazing. I loved how they support each other and stood up for each other. And the heavy subject of childhood trauma and abuse was handled really well. I also liked Heather, who was a green flag hero. He supported, respected, and fought for Imam whenever she needed throughout the book. Watching Imam slowly regaining her confidence, her self worth, and fight for what happened all those years, open up about it, and face the enemy, it was really amazing. It wasn't just Imam who fought the toxic characters of the story, but also her sisters and Heather, and the way they put them in their place, it made this ending really satisfying. As for what didn't work for me, this book suffers with over explanations and repetitions. Because of that, the pacing sometimes became really uneven. Also, Imam's growth was really slow, and her fear, her anxiety, her lack of self worth because of what she has gone through, and not standing up for herself was after some point a bit frustrating. Another thing I didn't like in this is her mother. I definitely agree. She has gone through a lot and she suffered a lot. She had her own trauma. But at the same time, not having faith in her own daughters and not standing up for them, and also always be pleasing and inviting to the very people who ruin her daughter's life, it kind of diminished the emotional impact of her arc. This is just the first book in the series, I hope to see her grow and come out of that conventional mindset. Overall, Promise Me This was really good fake dating romance with themes and layers of family, sisterhood, and healing. Next, I read Pickleballers. In this, we follow Meg Bloomberg, who is recently divorced. Her confidence has been shaken and her art is abandoned. The only thing that is keeping her afloat is pickleball that she joined on a whim, and because of her insistence of her best friend Annie. But that too at a risk because the courts are being shut down due to wetland project. Mag enters pickle smash competition in a hope of saving the courts. But things become complicated when her ex-husband returns and she has to compete with him to enter into the pickle smash competition as a beginner. Moreover, she is growing feelings for Ethan, who is none other than the environmental scientist working on the wetland project that is threatening the goats. As in her nature, she runs away from the complex situation and takes a trip to Beansbridge, birthing place of pickleball, where she rediscovers herself, finds community, and also gets a second chance at love. So, what worked for me? The pickleball game itself was really amazing. I enjoyed learning more about the game, the rules, the history at the Bainbridge, and everything. The community and found family vibe was also amazing. All the side characters and also Mike's best friend kind of saved the book for me. They kept the plot very engaging and entertaining. Meg's constant effort and her practices, it kind of improved her game, and which felt really well earned and realistic. The final competition and that golden pickle drop was really exciting to read. Now, what didn't work for me was Meg herself. Her self doubt and constant lack of self assertion due to her nature not confronting anything and anyone, it kind of became very repetitive. The pacing was uneven. Some scenes felt totally disconnected with the main plot, and it didn't kind of add anything to the story except the page numbers. Another thing I did not like is, yes, romance. I did not feel the chemistry between Ethan and Meg. So overall, it did not turn out as I expected. But if you like the sports romance or sports contemporary, the small town community, and theme of finding oneself through the game, this is for you. Next, I read Timeless Tales from Marwar. Rajasthan is not just golden dunes and palaces, but it is also culture, people, and stories passed down from generation to generation. And it was all captured perfectly in Timeless Tales from Marwar. This is the collection of 17 stories, which were originally written in a Marwari language, but and now that is translated in English, that keeps the soul of the story intact. Translator also leaves the some of the Marwari words in the stories, and the meaning of those are written in the footnote. What I loved most about it is how it keeps the originality and quirkiness of the language alive in the stories. In the stories, there are witches, greedy landowners, hardworking farmers, wise men, a really kind king, and all the stories are voiced both by humans and animals. The writing is simple with poetic proses in between, and all the stories are layered with the meaningful messages and rooted in the human nature. So, my favorite stories in this collection were Learning of the Toy, Eternal Hope, The Leaf and the Pebble, and Jeremiah's Tales. So, if you love regional folk tales, this is for you. 40 Rules of Love. I really, really love this book. This is a soul soaked fiction that is about Ella, 40 years old, who is very contained in her life, controlled and organized, who loves her routine. She's mother and wife, but she doesn't believe in love. And all of that, her thoughts and her life changes when she comes across a manuscript which is called Sweet Blasphemy, which is about Rumi and Shams of Tabriz and Shams 40 Rules of Love, which are all about spiritualism, humanity, love for God, and Sufism. And while she gets interested into the story of Rumi and Shams, she also gets interested in the writer behind the Sweet Blasphemy, that is Aziz. The writing is as mystic as the subject of the book. It is beautiful, deeper, that takes you into the story, mind and soul. Both the past 13th century narrative and the contemporary narrative were done really well. I was interested in both the timeline equally. And as for the 30 rules of love, they are not about actually a relationship, but it's about divine love, inner transformation, learning to love the life and God, and spreading wisdoms and love. And I loved all those 40 rules. I found myself agreeing to them, and they also at the same time made me pause while I'm reading and think about them. What I love most in this book is not just the 40 rules but also characters. They were all introduced so really well, and their transformation, especially of Ella and Rumi, was just amazing. Ella learns to step out of her dissatisfaction or monotonous life and her fears and embrace the change and love. And Rumi evolves from scholar to a person who understands love through heartbreak, loss, and devotion. Also love the layers in the story, stories or backstories of women in this book, and also of Aziz. They added more depth to the main plot. While the ending is not traditionally happy, I absolutely loved the growth of both Rumi and Ella, and how they emerged to be more aware and true to themselves. And that is more satisfying than any happily ever after. So, overall, 40 Rules of Love is beautifully written, thoughtful, and deeply layered fiction that made me want to read more reflective fiction in future. Tongue in cheek is delightful, cheerful collection of stories written in an author's trademark humorous style. All the stories in this collection are based on or inspired by author's own experience and observations. All the stories have a misadventure, humor, and gentle reflection on human nature, and they cover wide range of subject like home technology, food, marriages, health issues, trends, animals, you name it, everything is there in these stories. And as they are based on the different life situations and experiences, they are both entertaining and relatable. Finding humor in everyday life is not easy, but author manages it effortlessly. I loved her writing and her style and the way she used puns, playful words, and witty remarks. It brings the simple life situations to life. And I also loved how she uses real life people, especially her husband, in almost all stories. That gives them extra warmth and fun. One thing I would like to mention is that this cannot be read in a one go, because it kind of after some time becomes a bit tedious. But this book works perfectly if you read it in between the heavy reads, just like a daily dose of humor, one story a day, or just open any page and read the story of that page, and you will enjoy this more than reading it in one go. So overall, this was fun and delightful collection of stories, realistic fictions that will be enjoyed by readers of all age, and Indians specifically will find the situations in the stories really hilarious and relatable. Next, I started Scared Sexy collection of novellas, and the first book was Hot for Slayer by Ellie Hazelwood. When it comes to author's paranormal romance, I absolutely love it. It is on the top of the list. But after reading Hot for Slayer, which is just 100 pages long, Bride takes second position. I loved it that much. Hot for Slayer follows a story of Ethel Tirth. We will say Ethel because it's too hard to speak her that name. So Ethel, we follow Ethel, who is a vampire, and how she tells about how she met Laszlo, the Slayer, in about 30 years back, and now she is meeting him again when she is dying. She was surprised to see Laszlo when she was just thinking about him, and even surprised that he fights another vampire who wanted to kill her for territory. Though that fight, Laszlo gets injured and he loses his memory. He doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember who Ethel is, and he doesn't even remember he is a slayer who has been wanting to kill Ethel for past century. So Ethel saying that Laszlo has saved her life, she doesn't want to kill him. It doesn't feel right to her, so she takes him to her home and spends day with him, which cements the connection they already have, and it builds more feeling. But it was really interesting to see her dilemma, what will happen when Laszlo's memory is back. And as a reader, we are also curious to see what he will do when his memory comes back. So while I really enjoyed chemistry between Laszlo and Ethel, I also loved how author tells not just about their romance and chemistry, but also takes us back to Ethel's life, starting from 8th century, her childhood, and how she was turned into vampire, and her life over centuries until this day, and how every time she encountered Laszlo and their fight, their chase, it was all just amazing and described in just 100 pages. And yes, we also get to know about slayers, how they are created, their nature, and how they were tasked to erase vampire bloodline. So yes, we get really get to know both the characters, their history, story, everything in just few pages, and author did it so well. And like Ethel, I did not trust Laszlo until after climax. When his memory returns, he reveals about his true intentions, true feelings, and it was really cute. I really enjoyed both the characters, this story, and I wish this was a full length novel. Hot for Slayer set standards for Scared Sexy collection, and I was delighted to find out that Christina Lauren matches that standard with their fall. We follow Kat, who is attending a Halloween party with her not so impressive boyfriend, who actually ditches her as soon as they enters the party. And she was attending because she was new in the town and was lonely. But when she meets Brigand, she feels that instant connection, strong pull towards him. She also feels that he's not how he looks. He's different. So, giving in to her attraction, she dumps her boyfriend and spends night with Brigand. Brigand is not just attractive; he is also a cursed immortal. He was really surprised to find out that his allure, his charm doesn't work on Cat the way it does on other human. Also surprised that his curse of feeding on human pleasure doesn't affect her the same way as it does to the others. So that turns into a curiosity at first, and then he is a bit hesitant and wants to push Cat away. Cat refuses to walk away without knowing who he actually is. So, like Cat, I also kept guessing who Brigand is. I thought at first he is a vampire, then I thought he's a fee, but he actually turns out to be a fallen angel. I loved the conversations between Cat and Brigand, and I also loved their 5 question game that also helped them getting to know each other. And through those questions, I actually loved knowing more about Brigand, how he became immortal and how he got his curse, and what can lift the curse, and how he has been waiting for centuries for that person to arrive in his life that who can lift his curse. And not just that, but we also get to know Cat, and it was really amazing to read about both of them in just 56 pages. So yes, there was a lot in these 56 pages, so it was inevitable to feel the ending of a bit rushed. But I still enjoyed this book, and like Hot for Slayer, I wish this was a full length novel. So that's it. Let me know in a comment if you have read any of this book or plan to read, or what was your most favorite read of January 2026. If you like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that hype button, and enjoy the books you read. Until we meet next time.